I'm Mel,
And I'm Andrea.
and we've been asking ourselves, WTF? Where's the fun?
So, welcome to our podcast for heart-led business leaders, entrepreneurs, and CEOs ready for more. More impact, more wealth, more joy, and more magic, all while having even more fun than ever before.
As co-founders of FunX, we believe that life and business is way more fulfilling when you're following the fun.
So we're flipping the script on success, giving you permission to create from a whole new paradigm where you can have a lasting impact while nurturing your well-being and having a freaking blast along the way.
So join us each week for engaging solo episodes
and real conversations with experts who are embodying this new paradigm of leadership, spiritual wealth, business growth, and of course, fun.
If you're ready to reignite your spark, make bold moves, and lead from a whole new energy,
let's jump in and have some fun.
Welcome back to WTF. Where's the fun? I'm Mel.
And I'm Andrea.
And today we're going to talk about a little saying that we have embodied. We've really anchored into it. And it's so simple. It's do it anyways. And I think we've lived by this little saying without even knowing we've lived by this little saying for like 10 years now. Because there was so many times that we did things and people were like, you can't do this, you shouldn't do that. And we tuned into ourselves and we said, fuck it, do it anyways. And so that's what we want to talk about today.
And it's, I think, the perfect timing to do this because for us, this is something that you're right. I think it's something that we did, but we didn't necessarily have the language around it. And it was just such a good reminder of us or for us. Basically, what happened is there was some personal growth. Like we were navigating some personal growth at the end of last year. And one of our mentors, she shared this with you. She's like, don't forget. And then she shared us basically this message. So I think this is Mother Teresa's version, but it goes as this. People are often unreasonable, irrational, and self-centered. Forgive them anyways. If you're kind, people may accuse you of selfish ulterior motives. Be kind anyways. If you're successful, you will win some unfaithful friends and some genuine enemies. Succeed anyway. If you're honest and sincere, people may deceive you. Be honest and sincere anyways. What you spend years creating, others could destroy overnight. Create anyway. If you find sincerity and happiness, some may be jealous. Be happy anyway. The good you do today will often be forgotten. Do good anyways. Give the best you have, and it may never be enough. Give your best anyway. In the final analysis, it is between you and God. It was never between you and them anyway.
When I even hear you read that, like almost all those points, I'm like, yeah, that's exactly it. So do it anyways.
Do it anyways. And I think as humans, often we maybe even hold ourselves back or play a little bit smaller because of some of those things. Like for me, one of my absolute worst fears was being criticized or maybe even feeling like almost judged, persecuted for living the life that I live, sharing the message that I share, and it being almost me being misunderstood by those who I love and who I'm close with. And that actually became a reality last year.
Mhm.
And it was such an amazing learning opportunity for us
Yeah.
to really realize, one, don't take it personal, which I think was a massive learning lesson in itself. And then two, do it anyways. Like whatever it is that you're doing, if you want to be successful, you want to be happy, you want to grow your business, you want to move, whatever the thing is that you want to do, and it feels like a true heart-centered intention, go for it. Do that thing.
Because the truth is that whether you do it or whether you don't, they're going to judge you either way. Someone's going to judge you. So if it's a fear of judgment, do it anyways, because if you're not going for your goals, you're going to be judged that you're not going for your goals. If you go for your goals and you're successful, people will still judge you. So it doesn't fucking matter. And the thing is, the people that are judging you It's not even about you. They're judging themselves. They're having their own inner conflict. So it really has nothing to do with you. So you might as well just do it anyways.
which I think is so freeing. Like,
Yeah.
how freeing is that? And an example of this in real time. So, our mentor kinda sent us that email and it landed and we're like, "Okay, do it anyways." We're really starting to anchor in that, and then we were hosting our mini fun experience. So it was our one-day event, and we did it in December. We did it early December because we didn't want there to be snow, and there was so much snow.
In the last like 3 years, there's been nothing but bare ground. So then, of course, the year that we decided to do something then.
It was like a massive snowstorm. So a day leading up to the event, we're looking at the weather and we're like, I just knew it. I'm like, we have 4 facilitators coming. They're all coming from out of town. I'm like, I just have a feeling they're all gonna be able to not make it. And they were all able to not make it. So it was like we found out a day before the event that 4 out of our 4 facilitators aren't gonna be there. There was a couple other things that were in the mix. There was just things that kept being like,
Yeah.
"Should we just cancel this?" Like, we had other people in our community who were hosting events, and they had canceled theirs,
Exactly.
and
And we looked at each other and we were like,
well, what we did is we're like,
"Anyway."
"Are we pushing?
Oh,
Are
yeah.
we just doing this because we said we're gonna do it, we're just gonna power on through, and it's not safe for people, and it doesn't make sense?" So we weighed that, and then we're like, or are we just kind of using this as an excuse or an easy way out? And I remember I just like I got quiet and I asked myself, and all I could hear was do it anyways. And we're like, fuck it, let's go for it. So we decided, we're like, even if it's just us, we knew Amanda Steele was coming. So Amanda is our she's basically
Basically.
our believer. And she's like, I am there. So we're like, worst case scenario, it's the 3 of us.
And we have a great time.
We're gonna have great food.
Oh,
We had already had that figured out, and because I think we, like, from a heart-centered place, had committed to doing it anyways,
yeah.
really cool things started to line up. So although the facilitators weren't able to show up in person, we rejigged the schedule. We actually created the content for that day to be even more aligned with our original intention of what we wanted the day to be. So I feel like the schedule turned out better. 2 facilitators joined us virtual, and it was honestly, they had more time because there was less people. It was magical in that sense.
Shout out to Chris from Muskoka Connect who hooked us up on that. Shout out, Chris.
Yeah, you saved our butts.
Yeah.
And then at the same time, it was really cool because there was a bunch of people in Muskoka who wanted to come, but they couldn't come because they had a spa day planned. But then because of the snow, they canceled the spa day, and then they were like, "I'm in for this one." So like literally at the last minute, we had a bunch of people not be able to make it, and then the same amount of people be able to make it.
Yeah.
So it really, honestly, like even though on paper it made zero sense,
I know.
it worked out even better than I think we could have imagined.
Today's episode of WTF Where's the Fun is sponsored by The Fun Experience, a curated mastermind for established business owners, entrepreneurs, and CEOs ready for more. More magic, more joy, more wealth, and more fun than ever before. So if you're ready for a peer-to-peer mastermind that's helping you to embody more leadership, more impact, and make bold moves, The Fun Experience is where it's at.
And I think sometimes when you're in those positions like that, like whether do I do it? Do I not do it? Um, I think it's leading you to your next level of leadership almost. And when you say,
Yes.
fuck it, do it anyways, it kind of almost gives you like an energy burst in being like, oh, I can do this. Like it almost gives you a confidence and permission.
And I think for us, it also gave us 1, permission, and then 2, it made us have to totally let go of the outcome. Like,
Yeah.
we did our best, and I think that's part of it. Do it anyways, to me, what that, I guess, really embodies or represents is show up with your whole heart. Put your whole heart into this,
Yes.
and then know that you did your best, and then just let it go. And that gave us so much peace
And freedom.
to be like, Okay, so all I have to do is my best, show up." And really, I think it was probably not only one of my most favorite events that we've
Yeah.
done, it was I think it actually taught me more about sales and how I wanted to show up differently in sales. Like, it was a
And yes.
that came out of it.
Yeah. Yeah, I do too. So, I guess we're saying too, if you're struggling with, like, fears, what are the fears? Like,
Mm.
actually get quiet and ask yourself, Am I just scared to do the thing? Am I scared of judgment? Am I scared, like, I'm gonna embarrass myself?" Like, who is it, Sarah Blakely?
Yeah.
She's the one that says if you are scared of being embarrassed, then you're not really, what does she say? She says
So Sarah Blakely, for those who don't know, she's the founder of Spanx, and her whole thing is like, just get embarrassed. If you're not cool with being embarrassed, then you're not going to be able to continue to grow at the
yeah,
level that you want.
yeah,
So, so that's a big one. And I think another one that
do it anyways. Like, if you're, like, pulling yourself back because you're like, "I'm scared I'm gonna fuck up." Like, this podcast probably doesn't sound the best, but we're doing it anyways. Like, we don't like, it's not that we don't care, it's that we're doing it anyways. I think that's the main thing is so many people get paralyzed in the fear, and so they don't do it. And then they get even more down on themselves. But you know what?
yeah,
Do it anyways, and if you set an intention that I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna put my all into it, and it's gonna be even better than I can imagine, that's usually 98% of the time, that's what happens.
I agree. And I think I can think of so many examples even in the past year for us with our brand. Like
Yeah.
our business, if we did what most people would do, they would have not probably done the first fun experience mastermind. There was times where we were like, does this even make sense? We're like, you know what? We're gonna do it anyways.
Yeah.
And then the second one, there was people that are like, oh, probably wouldn't have done it. And we're like, you know what? Let's do it anyways.
Yeah.
And then this mini experience, it was easy for
Nobody would
us
let out.
to not do it. And we did it anyways. And the cool thing is, we just kept taking aligned action. I think that's the key point. It was aligned. We weren't doing things that,
That's how you learn and grow too.
and then what happens is these all like come together and they create something that's bigger than any one of those events.
Yes.
Like we actually created is looking back now, it brings me so much gratitude that we've created not only a community but a brand
Yeah.
and like a foundation for something that we can actually grow and
Yes.
and help people with because we never stopped.
Yeah.
And because we went all in with our heart. And when you do go all in with your heart, you learn something. You either learn, okay, fuck, not doing that again.
Yeah.
Or you learn, you know what? Maybe if I did this differently, or if I tweak this, or if I try, it's like the quickest way you can learn
Yeah.
something. One other thing I want to say about this around the fears is I think it's so important to have the awareness, like you were saying, of what are the fears, but then being conscious about how can you navigate whatever the situation is. So doing it anyways, but also navigating what are some of the emotions, what are some of the beliefs that are coming
Yeah.
up. Um, it's slightly connected, but not necessarily totally. But let's use the fun experience, for example, when we're doing the mini mastermind. Part of me, my old conscious belief would have been like, "Oh, okay, well, now the facilitators aren't coming. What's my pattern?" My pattern is I want to close my heart, take it personal, and be like, "Well, then I'm just gonna do it on my own."
Yeah.
But I consciously was like, "No, I'm gonna do the opposite. This is a growth opportunity. I'm gonna open my heart. I'm gonna see it from a different way." Like, were people not coming because it was personal for me? No, they're not coming because it's a massive snowstorm. And if I was in the same shoes, I would totally have done the same thing. So then you can come at it from a different
Yeah.
perspective. And I think that's the whole point of this do it anyways. It's one of the quickest ways that you can learn,
Mm.
one of the quickest ways that you can um, truly embody what it is that you want
Yeah.
and then have a different perspective so that when you are doing it and shit comes up because challenges always come up,
Yeah.
you can come at it from a different lens and it's not going to take you down. If anything, you're gonna be like, okay, how is this on the way? How can I learn from this
Yeah.
and use this to my advantage?
Yeah. So, if you are wanting
If
to
you're watching this and wondering why our podcast,
because our dog is just mangling it in here. But you know what? We're doing it anyways. Uh, So, yeah, I think my biggest advice is if you're wanting to do something and it scares you or you have a fear around it, check in with yourself. Be like, do I think this is gonna help me get me closer to my goals? Am I gonna grow to the next level that I want to become, I'd say fucking do it anyways. And I'd say tag us in it when you do it because we'd love to celebrate you.
Yes. Celebrate and share us a little bit about what it is that you're doing anyways.
Yeah.
And have fun doing it.
Yeah. Let's go. Thanks for listening to WTF. Where's the fun?
We're Andrea and Mel, and we're so excited to be on this journey with you to see how fun it can get.
If today's episode brought a little bit more fun into your world, be sure to subscribe, share with a friend, and leave us a review.
And remember, life and business is so much better when you're following the fun. So let's have some fun.